Just travel around and sing. My God, if you're a singer, that's the thing to do. I just like writing programs and teaching this information. That's all I did. See? I do it all over the world. I'm here. I got to fly back tomorrow because I'm working in Toronto Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I got to go to Vegas because we're doing a weekend seminar there. Then I go back to Toronto for a couple of days, and I go to England and do a seminar, come back to Toronto, and then I've got to go back to Sweden and Copenhagen. It's really interesting, and you meet these people from all over the world. Just doing what I love to do. It's the only way to live, Joe. Look at the example you've got. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Now, I had a guy sit down with me when I was 26. He put an orange sheet of paper. I've told this story 1,000 times, and I never get tired of telling it. Then he put 3 letters down beside it. He said, Bob, let that represent happiness, that's health, and that's wealth. Then he asked me if I thought he was a happy guy. And I said, yeah, he seemed pretty happy to me. He said, have you ever seen me sick? I had that, then I hadn't. He said, have you ever seen me when I was broke? I had that, then I hadn't. I remember he used to take out a wad of bills and he says, you know, this stuff can't talk, but it can hear. And if you call it, it'll come. And I never forgot that line. And I thought, it's a cute little line, but the truth is, if you call it, it'll come. I like the way Mark Victor Hansen put it. He says it goes where it's invited and it stays where it's welcome. Pretty well the way it works. Well, Ray said to me, he said, in the area of happiness, he said, you've got to be one of the most miserable people I've ever met. And you know something? I was an unhappy guy. I didn't have difficulty admitting it. I was really unhappy. He said, when it comes to health, he said, you're always sick. Yet he said, money, you're always broke. Now, he was actually being kind. I was earning $4,000 a year, but I owed $6,000. And I didn't know it all in one place. I owed it all over the place. So people were always phoning, where's the money? And I said, God, if I knew where the money was, you wouldn't have to phone me. I hated answering the phone. Some of you have been there. Some of you are there. It's not a fun place to be. I had no phone. And I said, what do you know about yourself? I said, what do you mean? Well, he said, who are you? Quite frankly, I thought that was a dumb question. I really did. I said, you know who I am? I'm Bob. I said, that's who you think you are. This was a phenomenal lesson right there. He said, Bob is your name. That's not you. I said, well, this is me. No, he said, that's your body. You've never heard anybody phone into work and say, body's not coming in today, it's sick. You never hear anyone say, yeah, hand. Say, my hand, my name, my body. I started to think. He said, did you ever read anything? I said, no, I can't read. Now that wasn't true, I could, but not well. I've since figured out that I read about as well as most people. Do you know that the average person reads at about a grade 6 level? Not because they learned to read by the grade 6 or 7, and they never improve upon it from that point on. Do you know a book is nothing but a picture painted in words? You just and digest the pages. I learned how to do that. I don't do it very often, because I like taking a paragraph and really studying the paragraph. I may read a paragraph for 2 or 3 months. I've got a little book holder on my desk. And I know why I got it. I went in there all night the first time I went to visit him. He had a book holder in his desk. And he had a book in it. I thought, that's pretty cool. I found one in a little shop one day. I said, what is that? They said, it's a book holder. I said, I want it. And I took it home. So I've always got a real good book on it. I've been having Trober's books on it for the last 4 or 5 years. And I open them at a page. And sometimes I'll leave them open there for 2 years. See? And I just keep reading it over and over and over again. But when he asked me this, I never read anything. And he said, you ought to get this book and read it. Now, that book literally changed my life. It really did. I have been reading this particular copy since 1963. I read it every day. I was reading it last night. I read it again this morning. Here's something good. Thoughts which are mixed with any of the feelings of emotion constitute a magnetic force which acts from the vibrations of the ether other similar or related thoughts. A thought thus magnetized with emotion may be compared to a seed which, when planted in fertile soil, germinates, grows, and multiplies itself over and over again until that which was originally one small seed becomes countless millions of seeds of the same brand. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I first read that, I didn't know what the hell this guy was talking about. I mean, that was all, might have been in Russian. That's why I've been reading it since 1961. I never stopped reading it. And the guy that gave me this, he said, listen, the man that wrote this book spent his entire life to write it. He got intimately involved with about 500 of the world's most powerful people. He became real good friends with Ford, Edison, presidents of the United States. In fact, during the Great Depression, Roosevelt called on him. How can we teach this to the people? And Ray said to me, if he spent his whole life writing it, it might be a good idea for you to spend your whole life reading it. I don't know why, but that sunk in my mind. And since 1961, I've done that. Now, I took apart paragraphs. I've chosen a couple, and I want to go over with you. There's a paragraph that's outlined there. If you open the book, you'll see it had a yellow highlighter.